I would suggest your producers to get some shorter chairs. I feel like I'm Cat Williams on the Club Shay Shay couch right now with my feet not being able to hit the ground. So whoever's responsible for these chairs that are as tall as me, you're fired, you're fired, and you're fired. Do I have the ability to fire people? Can I fire people? I just did.
Yeah,
But you can keep your job. I'm gonna let you keep your job.
All right, cool, thanks. I appreciate that. But when did you know that you had like this funny gift to do this comedy?
It was a point where I said, I wanna try it. Like my whole life, I've always been the funniest guy in the room. The class clown, the military clown and everything. I was a military police officer in the Air Force, right? And I it didn't make a lot of people in my family happy, especially my father, because my father was a heroin kingpin in DC for years. And when I told him I was going into the military, he was like, that's good for you, son. He said, what are you gonna do? I said, I'm gonna be a police. And my father called me a bitch-ass motherfucker right in my face. And he looked at me like, do you know what I do for a living? Being trained as a military police officer, I was waiting to be a cop in DC, and we used to go to comedy shows. And I had no desire to do stand-up, but I just started going, and I started heckling the comedians. And I started heckling so hard that people started coming to the show to hear me roast the comedians. They said, why don't you go upstairs? Why don't you go on stage? I went on stage, and that was the first time in my life that something happened to me that I knew exactly what I was gonna be doing next. I'm not gonna be a police officer. I need to figure out a way to get fired, because if you get fired from your job, you get unemployment. If you quit, you don't get unemployment. Got fired from my job after 6 months, moved to New York. I never gave myself a plan B.
Oh, you did it, man.
I'm doing it. I
You're
still got a
doing
long way
it.
to go.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. I agree with that. But you, like you mentioned, you said you was going to be a DC police officer, but
I
you.
would have been I gotta tell you, I would have been a crooked cop.
How so? Talk about it.
It was part of my bloodline. You know what I'm
But
saying?
you was a cop in the military. Were you a
But I
crooked
was
cop
the
then?
worst. Yes, not crooked, but I wasn't copy. I wasn't on my walkie-talkie like 904 Bravo Charlie. I wasn't doing that. I think out of 4 years in the military, I had I know I had a 0 arrest record. I never read nobody their rights. I was the worst. I wasn't like you. I was just like, man, when is this day gonna be over? Because we about to get turned up at this club later on tonight.
Yeah, it was a means to get education
Yeah, it
and
was
stuff
for
like
me.
that.
Yeah, it was the first time I traveled on a plane. It was I started the first time I met people outside of like the community I grew up with. So it gave me some culture. I don't have any bad feelings about it at all.
All right. Your dad was a hustler, and
Yeah,
one time he's on the run from the fuzz.
yeah.
Did you have a relationship with him at all?
We had a relationship, the most relationship that you could give your kid that was you wasn't around your kid like that. I never felt any ill toward my father. He passed away like 3 years ago, late 60s, and then maybe a year before he passed, um, my mother was like, they're looking for your father. He was still in the streets. He was still doing
The same thing.
the same thing. And somebody said, why do you think he would risk that? I was like, because some people are just born hustlers. He was so conditioned for prison, it didn't scare him. You know what I mean? It never made him feel like, oh, I ain't going back. I mean, one time he said, motherfuckers think I'm crazy. He said, but I had fun in jail. He said, all my friends was there, right? That's a hard thing to resonate with anybody.
You a father now.
Yeah.
Did your relationship with your dad influence the way you parent?
1,000%. And the reason why I say that, I got connected to like nature and outdoor shit in Ohio maybe 3 years ago. I went on a kayak and canoe trip, right? And it was the most peaceful thing I had ever done. I'm floating down the river. I'm smoking a joint. It's legal. I'm sorry. I'll pass it to y'all. Smoking a joint. And one of my friends, he pulls up beside me in another kayak. And he's like this, man. White dude. He said, man. He said, I loved it. He said, man, this just makes me feel good. He said, this reminds me of crawdad fishing with my father, building ramps and stuff with my father. And when he said that, I was like, I don't have all those memories. I got on 2 handfuls of memories that I have with my dad doing stuff that I remember to this day. That's my whole focus with my son, is to create memories. And I think about the age my son is right now. If something happened to me where I had to go away, I would be fucked up. when he got locked up, then he had passed away some time after that, they sent me his property, and it was a wallet, old man wallet, right? And I went through the wallet, and I pulled out a picture, and it was the picture of me in the military when I first, a little school picture. And
Wow.
the reason why it fucked me up is because I'm like, that picture has been everywhere. I was 17 years old. I'm over 50 now. That picture, he took that picture everywhere he went, from one facility to the next facility to
Wow.
getting out. And I was like, damn. And I was like, as much as I know he was tough, I was like, he never told me he loved me.
But he showed you with that
And I
picture.
didn't need it. You know what I'm saying? My father was like, I love you. Like, I used to be like, all right. And I'd be ready to hang up and be like, he'd be like, gone. He'd be like, gone before you get all that emotional shit.
Yeah.
But he was a tough. Shout out to Charles E. Greer, AKA Box.
Shout out, Box. Shout it out, man. Wow. Proud of you. Love your work, man.
Thank you. Can I say
Salute,
one more
man.
thing?
Yes, you can.
I'm rich, bitch! Is that it?